Thank you for joining. This is the Reynolds Company Tech Talk. This session, we will have Stratus as the guest speaker for disaster recovery. It is recorded, so more than likely you might be able to see it online on our website. Just a quick review, we do have multiple technical sessions from the Reynolds Company. So as mentioned, this is a tech talk. We generally do about a 20 to 25 minute conversation. Some of the times we may include third-party vendors that we're working with and partners. We have recordings back a couple of years, but you can see on the list everything that we have since January. So as mentioned today, we'll have Stratus Disaster Recovery Solutions, and then we also have user groups that we have every month. We have an option there for on-demand or online, and then also located in Houston in-person sessions. So the next one coming up will be regarding our HMI design guidelines, and that'll be in September. Registration is already open on our website. On the call today, my name is Luis Ramos. I'm the Business Development Manager for the Reynolds Company. I also have Brian McKeska and Mike Masterson, Automation Specialist, also located out of Houston, Texas. So if you guys have any questions as we go through, feel free to add them into the chat or the Q&A section, or follow up with us afterwards. All the information that we have regarding registration, technical sessions, and training can all be located on our website. So we do have quite a few blog posts, feature articles, and information. This tech talk is actually part of our emergency services disaster recovery spotlight for the month. Thankfully, we were able to get Stratus to do a conversation with us, so they'll go through and I'll let them introduce themselves in a few minutes. Last quick item before we get started on our main topic. Automation Fair is starting up soon. So Rockwell Automation Fair will be in November timeframe. Where we are, it's the week before Thanksgiving. 2 days before Automation Fair is also the Process Solutions User Group, PSUG. That is a paid-for package for the Monday and Tuesday event for DCS and Plant PX discussions. Automation Fair, we will have multiple vendors, including Stratus, there with Rockwell, new products, training, forum events. We do have a hotel package available through the Reynolds Company, so you can go to our website and learn more about it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to one of us, and we'd be happy to answer. With that, I'll go ahead and transition over to our main speakers. Let me go ahead and stop presenting.
Great. Well, thanks, everyone. So I'm Andrew Hines with Stratus, and we're going to talk about Stratus technology and then how that fits into disaster recovery solutions. So again, I am Andrew Hines. I'm the South Central Regional Manager and work well with Luis and his team. I've been with Stratus for about 3.5 months, but I have 20+ years in automation controls and OT environments, started out in manufacturing. I have 3 patents in electrical technologies, and I've been published in peer-reviewed journals. Christine, who will be taking the second part of this presentation, is the engineer for our territory, and she has 20+ years in IT environments. So with that, I'll tell you a little bit about Stratus. So with Stratus, who we are, and this is brief. Stratus was started in 1980 as hardware fault-tolerant and high-availability servers, and started out in financial industries. Today, we are, with our edge-based products and our ftServer line, we are industrial automation, utilities and energy, security, financial services, telecom, like 911 systems, and then also process manufacturing. We're a global company with over 500 people on staff and over 20,000 systems installed worldwide. So going on, what is disaster recovery? Okay, disaster recovery is your policies and tools and procedures so you can continue your vital technology infrastructure in your business operations based from a natural or human-induced disaster. Major power outage at a facility, hurricane comes through, something of that nature, okay? So disaster recovery is a replica of your production environment in a separate location or physically a separate location. Okay. It is to enable your organization to continue its business operations in your IT infrastructure as soon as possible in the event of a disaster, a power outage, a fire at a building, along those lines. Okay. So what does that mean? There's different types of data center disaster recovery plans. Okay. So first is, your first option is a virtual disaster recovery plan. Okay. You have a copy of your operating environment virtually, and you can restore it to any location. Now, the part of this is that you have to you have to hit it on standby or flip a switch for that to enable. So your business operations may be down until you're able to turn that on. Okay. So moving on to the second one, disaster recovery as a service. Okay. This is, you're paying a third-party company for that disaster recovery. So a third-party company has a copy of a virtual environment and is putting it into, you have that copy on your IT infrastructure. And again, when that occurs, there will be a period of downtime and as you go standby or flip a switch. Okay. Then there's cold site disaster recovery. You have physical hardware in a different location that has a copy of your operating environment. Okay. So if the primary goes down, you have a complete copy of what is going on for your business processes in a separate location. But again, this is a standby, or you have to flip the switch for that cutover. Okay. Then there is hot disaster recovery. Okay. And this is where Stratus fits in. Okay. You have systems that are operating in parallel. And when the primary systems goes down, your business operations will continue to run because the secondary picks it up. Now, what Stratus does is we are active. There are two systems that are running simultaneously, and we fit into that bucket that your business operation doesn't stop if there's a failure. And that's what our secret sauce is. Okay. But again, hot site disaster recovery, that's where Stratus fits. And that is, you're running an active or standby, but both systems are physically turned on and powered on and running simultaneously. Okay. So with hardware fault tolerant and high availability, in conventional server applications, that's 2 nines reliability. Okay. So if you're running a single server, that could be up to 88 hours, approximately 88 hours of downtime per year. Okay. If you're running a high availability cluster, you're running dual servers and kind of a typical configuration, that's 9995 of availability. And so your systems could possibly be down up to 4 hours, 23 minutes per month, or per year. Okay. Where Stratus fits, Stratus technology is 6 nines of reliability. What that means is, with the way that Stratus technology runs, you have the possibility of the accuracy of, it can only be down 31 seconds in a year. So that is a big deal in a lot of these critical business applications. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Christine to talk about our hardware platforms.
Yep. Thank you, Andrew. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Maybe good morning for some people. As Andrew mentioned, my name is Christine Kay. I'm the senior channel support engineer aligned to Andrew. And because this is, kind of a quick overview, my role today is going to be I'm going to discuss our 2 main products that fit in our platform that both could be used in a disaster recovery scenario. Before I jump into it, I just want to, just stress the importance of having some kind of strategy in place, just because obviously with weather and, uncontrollable or unforeseeable events, it's good to have some kind of strategy in place, whether it's, as Andrew alluded to, a replica of your production site, or maybe it doesn't require as many resources, because again, it's just kind of sitting there to take over in the event of a disaster. So with Stratus, our portfolio luckily is fairly small, but definitely can meet almost all workloads. So all the way to the left, we have what's called Stratus ftServer. Really just stands for fault tolerant server. So quick, 360 overview. It's fully integrated. It's continuously available, which obviously is going to help out with the disaster recovery. It's easy to deploy, manage, and service. It's going to come complete with hardware, software, and services all kind of wrapped together to give you that operational simplicity. That's going to keep all your applications running without any kind of downtime or data loss. A couple of key, benefits on how ftServer runs. One is you can see here that it's a turnkey solution. I'll go into this a little bit more in depth in just a second. It does support almost all of the current IT standards. So anything you would probably find in like an x86 server, the hardware perspective, it is going to be found inside the ftServer as well. It supports multiple operating systems and also provides you with different virtualization options. So really gives you the flexibility there to be able to customize that solution based on your needs. Just a couple of features I want to talk about. The ftServer, from a licensing perspective, is really beneficial and really cost effective because, as you'll see here at the bottom, that picture on the left of the ftServer, it looks, at first glance, being from the IT field, I would look at that and say that looks like 2 server nodes inside of a chassis. You're not entirely incorrect if that was something that you were thinking. That's certainly what I thought of when I first saw it. Stratus just looks at it a little bit differently. The 2, instead of saying nodes, we're going to call them crews. They're customer replaceable units. So from a licensing perspective, in a traditional environment, you would have to license both the top and bottom node. The nice thing with the way Stratus is built, we only require it 1 license because we look at it as a single system. It will be shipped as well as a single system. You just, it's very, very field friendly. You can just pop in each crew, turn it on, and then the synchronization will start. So, in terms of operational efficiency, definitely, super easy to deploy in that perspective. We also offer something called the AUL. This is unique to Stratus. It's called the automated uptime layer. And what this does is this is where we provide that processor synchronization. So as basically when the data is ingested, it's going to be replicated, and then it's going to be mirrored to both nodes. And this is how we're able to ensure that continuous availability, even in the event of a hardware component failure. And the reason we can do that is because when we get a call home or we get some kind of notification that there's been a failure, whether it's a disk failure, a memory DIMM failure, some kind of network failure, we're able to take that exact component offline. And then everything else will still continue. That surviving node, not the one that we took offline, but the other surviving node is never going to skip a beat because of we have that processor, the lockstep firmware processor synchronization that's constantly syncing the data back between the 2 nodes. So what's great about that, true high availability, true business continuity. It also offers industry standard components, like I said before, and then everything within it is hot swappable. The other really nice thing, not that it may not be a big play for disaster recovery, because obviously we hope to never have to actually use our disaster recovery strategy, but our ftServer, we will automatically ship whatever that failed component is. We do ship that out next business day. What's great about that is you don't have to worry about who to call or making sure that you have the correct part. We're going to go ahead and do that for you. Now, in an effort of time, I'm going to now move over to the middle area where it says ZTC Edge. This is our platform for much smaller environments, this is going to be, you can deploy this in under 30 minutes. It's very easy for people that are not really that technical. It was built based on industrial edge specification. So it was built for the harshest conditions, whether it's going in a PLC or going out by where all the fracking is going on. That's how it was built. It was built with all of those harsh conditions in mind. It is also self-protecting. We're constantly monitoring it, again, to make sure that there's any kind of failure. You would not want a failure on your disaster recovery solution. So we're always there to self-monitor that. And then last, it's going to come pre-built, pre-configured with something called SRL. That stands for Stratus Redundant Linux. It's based off of CentOS. And just a couple of things on ZTC Edge before I go ahead and hand it back to Andrew. Just want to talk a little bit about the actual architecture of it. Now, one big benefit with ZTC Edge is it does have, because it can be deployed in multiple sites, it does have that multi-site application recovery capability. So you're going to have, just a lot of flexibility in what you can do and where you can put it when it comes to, creating and coming up with that disaster recovery solution. So the way the architecture works here with ZTC Edge is, as I said before, it's designed for those harsh conditions. It was built as, all the nodes are class 1 div 2 IP40 rated. So definitely did our homework in terms of making it as, as rugged as possible. But what I think really, maybe makes Stratus stand out is how we're able to automatically protect your workloads. Now, when it's deployed as a redundant pair, we're going to be able to provide that instant protection for your workloads, because data is automatically replicated across both of those platforms. So you'll see it's just 2 of the ZTC Edge boxes just connected via a Cat5, Cat6 cable. So because they're being replicated across both boxes, if a VM is running on one of the boxes and that box was to experience some kind of failure, if that virtual machine is then set to run in high availability mode, it'll just automatically, it's going to restart on the surviving one. So you won't have to do anything. There's no manual intervention. However, there is a restart. So that's where, if it's true mission critical and you absolutely cannot withstand any kind of downtime, you may want to consider running that virtual machine of fault tolerant mode. Now, fault tolerant mode is different because instead of needing a restart, it will just automatically resume on the other box in the event of a failure. So we're able to detect, again, whether it's a network disk failure on one of the boxes and then reroute that traffic, or use the data from the other box without any kind of operator intervention. And then again, it can be deployed across physical distances to give you that automated site recovery. And then the last thing I'll talk about is the field serviceability. So when it's deployed as a redundant pair, everything's hot swappable and auto syncing. That's great because you don't need to be any kind of technical guru to be able to do it. You literally just unplug the cables, plug them back in, and then we're going to go ahead and pick up where we left off. So I know that was kind of a quick high level overview. At this point though, let me go ahead. I'm going to go on mute, and Andrew, I would say, let me go ahead and pass it back to you. Maybe see if there's any questions or anything else we wanted to go over. I don't know if you want to put up the specs.
Great. So thanks for that, Christine. So there is, as Stratus handles disaster recovery, and as Christine was talking about the technology, I'm just going to quickly throw up some. So Stratus has different options That ranges from, for ftServer, that ranges from the 2910, 4910, and 6910, depending on how many applications or how many different VMs that you are running in your environment, and have a number of different capabilities to suit your needs. With ZTC Edge, we have the two models. These are all DIN rail mountable, 9 to 36 volts in, high temperature spec. So kind of think of it as a mini data center in a box that can run those critical applications in either high availability or fault tolerant. And then also for the oil and gas people and in those industrial environments, it's classified as C1D2, and can run those multiple VMs in those harsh conditions. So with that being said, we can open it up to questions and anything that we can clarify for you.
Doesn't look like we have any questions right now. For everybody on the line, just so that you're aware, Stratus is part of Rockwell's IAB, so that integrated architect builder. So anytime that we're looking at Plan PX system guidelines, or just putting together a system for FactoryTalk View, or workstations like just a Studio 5000 environment, typically we're able to look and start sizing those servers based right there with the free tool. So if you guys have any questions, we have put together quite a few different packages and quotes when it comes to Plan PX in the box using ZTC Edge. And as Andrew mentioned, oil and gas, we have quite a few pieces that are following with a Stratus solution. We can provide the full cabinet, and we can also just provide the server itself. So if you guys have questions, feel free to let us know afterwards. We can always get in touch with Andrew, Christine, or any of the automation specialists. But if no one has any other questions, thank you for joining.